Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back to give you some of my thoughts and some of my highlights from the most current PlayStation State of Play. This was a highly anticipated announcement that Sony was doing. They said, hey, we're going to take over an hour. We're going to cover a bunch of first-party stuff, third-party stuff. There's going to be some surprises in there, and I have to say, overall, yeah, this was a pretty decent state of play. There is literally something for everybody here, and I'm going to go through and give you some of the highlights here. I'm going to go fairly quick because, like I said, it was over an hour long, and there's a lot to talk about. Starting with a big surprise announcement right out of the gate. They announced Kena, Scars of Kosora, and nobody saw this coming. I certainly didn't. This is a sequel to Bridge of Spirits that was released back in 2021. That's a game that a lot of people, myself included, thought was a total hidden gem. I think a lot of people kind of skipped it at the time, and maybe it sold okay, but I didn't think we'd ever see a sequel. So in this one, she is a little bit older and more experienced now, and also in a new land. And like I said, the previous game was way better than I ever expected it to be. And so if this looks pretty interesting to you, you should definitely check it out. It's very fun, and it's coming this year to the PlayStation 5 and the PC. An announcement that I think a lot of people were expecting to see was the multiplayer add-on for Ghost of Yotei. So this is Ghost of Yotei Legends. This is going to be the online co-op, and it's going to allow you to team up with basically 4 players, so I guess 4 total, and play different classes. Probably not my thing, but I know a lot of people are anticipating this. They also announced that Death Stranding 2 is officially coming to the PC, and it's going to come with a bunch of upgrades. There's going to be unlocked frame rates. They're also going to support widescreen, and looks like the graphics are going to be better, probably a bunch of fancy stuff like that. So that is coming soon in March. Here's a game I'm pretty sure that they teased previously. It's called Forloop, and this is a 4-player co-op sandbox game. As you can see here, it's a third-person shooting game, and basically your team at the beginning of a match interacts with this probability map to create a custom game specific to your choices here. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of loot, also enemies and bosses that are procedurally generated, so you can basically play this game endlessly. We got another look at Pragmata by Capcom. This is a single-player action game where you play as, it looks like an astronaut named Hugh, and he's cruising around with this little robot girl, and looks like it's pretty great, actually. This looks like right up my alley. I definitely prefer single-player games, and this is going to be one that I'm probably going to wait to see what the reviews are, but if the reviews come out and this gets high scores, then I'm going to pick it up. It comes out in April, and there's a demo that you can play now. Okay, Resident Evil Requiem. This is one of the most highly anticipated games of the year, and it looks great, right? This is exactly what you want. So, this is going to take the series back to the beginning and Raccoon City. You get a little glimpse of that at the end here. These games are always graphical showcases, and this is going to be a day one purchase for me personally, and I know it's going to be a day one purchase for a lot of you as well, so can't wait. We got to look at Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. So this is the classic game that has updated HD graphics. I guess there's a new camera. There's also new character skins. There's lost levels that they're going to add back into this game and a bunch more. It also comes with a promotional digital comic. So that's kind of cool. And I have to say, I do think that these graphics look pretty good. So this is going to be coming out in March. Now here's a game I'm not going to pretend that I know that much about. I don't play a lot of fighting games, but I wanted to include it in here because some of my good friends do like fighting games, and this is Dead or Alive. So this is returning from Team Ninja, and this is called Dead or Alive 6 Last Round, and a lot of anniversaries this year, by the way. So this is the 30th anniversary of this game series, and they're bringing back characters. There's going to be new outfits, also a new photo mode that looks pretty cool, and yeah, it's going to be coming very soon. I'm not entirely sure when this is coming out because they also mentioned that there's going to be a free-to-play version as well, so I don't know. It is what it is. This is a game that looked pretty cool. So this is the sequel to Control, and it's called Control Resonant, and man, this looks trippy. Which makes sense, because the original game is also very trippy as well. But this sneak peek here is a level in Manhattan that kind of reminds me of the movie Inception. Remember how the city would bend and tilt? and you know how bizarre that was? Well, this is doing that too, you know. And basically it looks like the gravity changes depending on where you land. This is coming out this year, and yeah, it looks really good. Skipping ahead a little bit here, this is the Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition. See, I told you there's something for everybody, right? Well, Digital Eclipse is back, and they are going to be including 5 playable versions, and there's all new accessibility options. There's also a lost prototype, and of course, they are masters at this. They also add in a bunch of design documents, interviews with the creators, and more. So, yeah, Digital Eclipse does excellent work. They are the masters of these anniversary editions of classic games, so I'm going to be checking this out. The developer of Shovel Knight had an announcement. They are working on a brand new game here that looks like it comes straight off the NES or maybe the Game Boy Color. It's called Mina the Hollower. I'm not sure if it's part of Shovel Knight or not, but yeah, this looks right up my alley. Here's a game that really caught my eye. I'm going to try to pronounce the name here. Is it Yako Shinobi Ops? I think how they pronounce that. But this looks like a really interesting stealth tactical game inspired by those old Tenchu Ninja games. Remember those back on, I think it was the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era? But this does look pretty cool. I really like stealth games, and I like how it starts with kind of a top-down tactical view, but then I guess it zooms in when the action heats up, like maybe when you do a stealth kill or something like that. So this game comes out next year. Here is a game that looks pretty interesting. So this is based, I guess, on a novel. That's what they said in the trailer. And they teased this game called Project Windless with a beefy, badass chicken. Yes, I said that. It's a badass chicken, right? I don't know anything about this, but it looks hilarious. But, you know, it plays, at least from this footage, kind of like the Dynasty Warrior games, where you just are hacking and slashing, tons of blood and gore in this, as you're playing this chicken, this muscular chicken. So, I don't know anything about this, but yeah, it definitely caught my eye. Oh yeah, baby, I love my racing games. We got another look at Star Wars Galactic Racer. I'm so excited for this. I just love those old pod racer games, and it's about time that we got a new one here. And they highlighted a bunch of stuff here, including different vehicle types as well as different planets. And I am digging the crash physics. They really showed this off in the trailer. So it looks extremely fast and chaotic, and I am all in on day one. We got another look at 007 First Light. This is another game I'm really looking forward to. I am a massive James Bond movie fan. I've actually even read the old novels back when I was in high school. So, yeah, and it's been a while since we got a really good one, right? So this one here, it looks like you're playing as a younger James Bond, and it looks like it's going to be a completely new story. It's from the developers of Hitman, which is something that is kind of new for them, but I think it looks really good. And so, yeah, this is coming out in May, and again, this is going to be another one for me that's going to be day one purchase. And then they highlighted a bunch of Konami announcements, and the big one that was, I think, on a lot of people's wish list, and it finally came true, is that they're going to be doing the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. And why this is important, because it is coming with Metal Gear Solid 4. For a long time, this game was locked on the PlayStation 3. This is huge for Metal Gear fans, because that is such a good game. And from this trailer, this teaser right here, it looks like they've upscaled the graphics and we're getting a better frame rate. So that is very good news. In this collection, they are also including the PSP game, Peace Walker. So that's also a cool little bonus. I think also people were kind of hoping that they would include the other PSP games, Metal Gear Solid Acid 1 and 2. They're a little bit bizarre because they're card-based games, but they're still really fun. But they're not including those, and honestly, just getting Metal Gear Solid 4 officially released on modern hardware, yeah, that's good enough for most fans. Oh yeah, and then they also showed something called Darwin's Paradox, and they kind of described this as a tactical octopus game that is a tribute to Metal Gear Solid. You guys are seeing the footage here. This looks wacky as hell. but it also could be pretty fun. So I'm going to do a wait and see on this one, see what their reviews say, but this might also be a pickup as well. Then they showed Castlevania Belmont's Curse, and as you can see from this footage, this is still a 2D Castlevania game, but I like how it has that modern kind of almost hand-drawn comic graphic style. I think that looks really good, right? It doesn't look like a cheap mobile game to me. It actually looks like they put some time and effort into it, so I dig the graphic style here. But yeah, it's a brand new Castlevania game. They're celebrating the 40th anniversary of the franchise, and this one's coming this year. Then they showed this trailer that I wasn't quite sure what it was for. It has this guy who is getting out of the water, and he's kind of walking around this town that's empty, but also seems to be changed, and I was like, this kind of feels like a Silent Hill game, you know? And then they showed, oh yeah, it's Silent Hill Townfall, and it's coming later this year. So I was like, oh, okay, this looks pretty cool. Very creepy survival horror game in that, you know, classic Silent Hill style. Not entirely sure if it's going to be first person or not. That's the one thing that it you know, from the footage that they showed, looks like it might be first person, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving ahead a little bit, I was like, wait, are they teasing a John Wick game? Because they started with a cinematic trailer, and I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting, but, you know, what will the gameplay be like, right? But then, about halfway through, they started showing gameplay, like, captured on a PS5. I was like, huh, wow, it looks very cinematic. Not entirely sure how this game is going to play, but I love these movies, so this is a very cool announcement of a new John Wick game. As far as I know, there's no release date set yet, but yeah, it's gonna be one I look out for. We got another look at Bungie's Marathon. Now, full disclosure, I didn't play the original back in the day, but I have to say I am digging the colorful mix of Cyberpunk and also maybe Destiny here. But again, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of these competitive online shooters. And, you know I'm in the minority there, so this really isn't a game for me, perhaps. I don't know if it even has a single-player mode on it, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to check this out just out of curiosity, right? Because it's Bungie, so we'll see what happens, but this is going to be coming out in March. Next up is Saros from Housemarque, the makers of Returnal. So this is a highly anticipated game for those of you that enjoyed that previous game. Myself, I didn't really love the random procedurally generated way that you played that game and you're expected to die all the time. I don't know, it just didn't grab me. But again, a lot of people are looking forward to this game because it seems like it's going to be kind of similar to that, but they're adding a bunch of gameplay mechanics as well as, I guess, other characters that are in the hub, plus character modifications and stuff like that. So I get it. So wanted to cover it here. This is going to be coming in April. And then we got a God of War trilogy remake. This was teased by the original Kratos voice actor. He was actually very funny. And he basically was saying, hey, just want to let you know that we're working on it. We're not going to show you any footage yet, but this is a pretty big deal because those first 3 games are absolute classics. Then he very cheekily teased a brand new 2D God of War game that I guess is being made by Mega Cat Studios. So this is called God of War Sons of Sparta, and as you see from this footage here, it's basically kind of like a 16-bit platforming beat-em-up game, and it's going to be officially in the God of War franchise, and it looks pretty good, actually. I like Mega Cat Studios. They've been making retro-style games for years now, so they are actually a good developer for something like this, and it's available today. And so that, guys, are my highlights and some of my thoughts on the games that were announced today in the PlayStation State of Play. Obviously, there's a little of something for everybody here. I will say, though, that some people were kind of hoping that they would tease or show off new hardware, maybe an updated version of the PlayStation Portal, or maybe those wireless speakers and stuff like that. But we didn't get any of it. Instead, they just focused on upcoming games. But I would love to know what you think. Are some of these on your wish list or games you're going to be looking out for this year? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I want to thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.